You're watching Absolute Basketball.
Yeah, well, welcome. First official day of practice, obviously, with the 4 hours a week that you can work with them. And in the summer, it's a big change from last year. We're compared to last year, we're so far ahead in what we've been able to put in and just the relationships that we've developed with guys. And it's been really good. I mean, really good. I love the work ethic of the team, the athleticism, the talent, camaraderie, all good, all good. These kids have been great to work with, and we're excited about the whole season. I mean, it's tremendous. My staff's done a good job, I think. The plan that we discussed in the spring that eventually was born into fruition in June has worked out tremendously in all aspects for our program. And so good. Joey has a minor injury that's kept him out for about 4 days. He's had a great summer in September though, and he knows what we're doing. So we're going to be cautious in how we bring him in, but he should be back by next week, hopefully. Big day for my wife and I yesterday. We got our boosters in one arm and our flu shot in the other. So double dose, and we both feel great, and obviously thankful to Duke that they take such good care of their people. So I'm open up for questions. Anything you would like to ask?
Raise your hand if you have a question. We'll get a mic to you. We'll start at the
And there are no St. Louis Cardinal questions at all. At all. The last 3 weeks have been nauseating. Just completely nauseating.
Aaron first, and then we'll go to Steve next.
Hey Mike, with a guy like Paulo Banchero's talents all over the court, how do you envision deploying him to take advantage of his skill set and size?
Well, he has to still learn how to use his skill set and size in this. It's a new venue, it's a new environment, and he's learning how to do that. The fact that his versatility is tremendous, and we've had a lot of success in the past, and actually the past, well, almost 3 decades or more of using a very versatile big in different parts of the court, and he can do that. He's smart and easy to play with. He just, he still has things to do before he meets up to what I want him to do, but he's really progressing well, and a great kid to coach.
Steve?
Backcourt, how do you see it play out in terms of what are their strengths so far? I would assess that area.
Yeah, and just since it's my 47th year, I don't like to call them backcourt or post or whatever. I call them basketball players, and we have really good depth on the perimeter, and there's veteran depth there. I mean, Wendell has had a sensational summer and fall, not a good one, a sensational one. And Jeremy is so much more athletic. Joey's been good. And then when you add Trevor Keels is outstanding player. AJ, Jalen has become a really good role player. We have a lot of depth, and to where you would even play them 4 of them at one time. If Paulo's out, you could play 4 with a big.
Brendan, and then Chris.
With you not being out on the road this summer, getting to spend more time with the guys, how much more teaching has that enabled you to do, and how helpful do you think that's been already for some of the young guys compared to?
No, it's been great. First of all, it's been great for me. I mean, that's the thing I like most about coaching, is developing the relationships with the guys. And as much of it as enjoyable it is to, you know, to watch an AAU tournament on Sunday afternoon and somewhere in the United States, I would prefer to be on the court with my guys. And that's part of the plan that we've had, is for my guys to just hit the road like crazy, and then I would take care of stuff here. They did too. It's not like they weren't here, but where they had complete whatever they felt they needed to do recruiting wise to do it, and then you know, we're good with what's going on here. But it's just such, you know, Brendan, it's completely different from last year, the relationship aspect of it. And it's nothing against those kids last year. You know, I've loved this summer. Actually, my wife said, why'd you do this like 10 years ago? And I said, retire? And she said, no. I said, well, I don't know if it would work out like that every year, but it's working out pretty good this year. But we will not have a chance to revisit those past 10 years.
Right.
Go to left side of Chris.
Hi, Coach. I wanted to know about Theo John and how he's fitting in, since especially he came from with House People, of course, here with you, and how's he fitting in with everybody, being a leader and fitting in with playing style?
Yeah, Theo, thank you. Theo has done great. You know, he played for Wojo, and so he knows how to play. And he was one of the top defenders in the Big East last year, and can really protect the basket, defend the ball screen, and he's a man. You know, he's a man. You know, he and having Bates Jones, you know, they're 23 years old. They've been in outstanding programs, you know, playing for Wojo or Bob McKillop. Even though Bates was a role player for Bob, he knows what it is to come to work every day, and they have fit in so well, and they've helped. I thought our freshmen. I think our freshmen are more physically mature than they have been in the last year, and but their overall maturity has been helped by being with those guys and having limited guys. You know, we did not go into numbers and filling out our roster last year. We decided on those 10 guys, and so the only 2 transfers were grad transfers, bigs. And even though a number of kids looked into our program and, you know, asked us to recruit them, we didn't go there. We decided this is our group, and then we scholarships since then. 2 of our walk-ons, Michael, my grandson Michael, and Keenan Worthington, and for this next year. So we're just into the thing of less is more, and the commitment to one another, and let's go. Let's see what the hell happens with all this.
Middle of David.
Hey, Dave. I'm curious, just over the summer, how your relationship has evolved with John, and what's it been like to kind of let him in, and even more so, and just kind of slowly hand the reins over to him?
Well, you know, we've had a great relationship. You know, otherwise I wouldn't have recommended this plan. You know, John is ready, and I knew that when we put this whole thing together in the spring. And you know, he's a natural. He's a great relationship builder and hard worker. He's got it. But so do my other guys. And we have developed even more where when we have a staff meeting, a lot of times after the staff meeting, like today, we had a practice, we have a practice, so we had a staff meeting to go over my practice plan, and then afterwards, you spend a few minutes together just talking about, here's what I'm thinking today, and that. And that runway of him being able to do that is really so important, and it's important for me, you know, much better than if all of a sudden in April I said, you know, see you guys. You know, if we did that, we wouldn't have the recruiting year we're having. You know, and maybe the next 2 recruiting years. Doing it the way we're doing it. my guys have worked so hard on the road and in the visits, and so we're hand in hand, you know. And I'll tell you what, a big key is, you know, my daughter Debbie, you know, in transition, because she's an assistant athletic director, but she has done so much with our program that she and John have developed an even more amazing relationship, and some of the things that have to happen in making a program go. So it's been great, and it's been great, and I love I love how well it's going.
Right here to Bastion.
Hi, Coach. You were asked earlier about having time to develop relationships with your players, and you spoke about how different this year is. Given this being your final season, do you find yourself savoring moments differently?
No, I told my staff and everyone around me not to use the word last. You know, this is my 47th year, my 42nd year at Duke. I'm going after it the way I've gone after every year. And as soon as you start saying savor, you know, let's remember this thing or whatever, I think you open up the door for rationalization of, you know, not putting it all out. In other words, well, it might be okay not to do it to this level or whatever. And I know that can take place. So we're not having any of it. I'll savor in May or whatever after that. But right now, I want to live, not savor. Like being in the moment is what I've tried to do my entire career. You know, in order to have the continuity of success of excellence that we've had, you can't savor much of anything. You better be in the moment that you're in. And you know, for the last 4 decades, you know, we've made we've made a mark on college basketball in the last 4 decades, and I'd like to make another mark before I leave in this decade.
To the back here to Sasha.
Hi, Coach. Could you speak a little bit about the role of family in your career?
I can't see. Oh, there you are. All right.
Here. Could you speak a little bit about the role of family in your career and balancing, you know, being a coach of such a high-profile program and being a family man?
Yeah, it's been pretty easy, really, because of my family. You know, when we got in, Mickey and I got in when I was 28, and you know, the 5 years we were at West Point, we were laying rugs, painting bleachers, having cadets at our house every weekend. We were all in, and Debbie was in grade school then. So they were accustomed to always having the guys around, and it's always been, you know, for the two of us, our career, and then my daughters have blended in really well. I mean, and Debbie was young, real young. I mean, when they used to have the Super 8 projectors, I'd be home watching, and you know, she would watch film with me, and then at the end, I'd do all those figures on the wall. And you know, my daughters know the game, and they know the guys playing the game, and my wife does too. So it's been really, it's been easy for us. It's been very easy. And I will mention one more thing. When Tom Butters, God bless him, hired me, he mentioned to Mickey, he said, "I just want you to know, I'm not hiring your husband, I'm hiring your family." You know, and that was a really big time thing to say to a 33, 34-year-old couple that's getting ready to make a real big jump into the ACC.
Jim?
Hi, Mike. You mentioned earlier that you don't think of front court players as basketball players, or backcourt players as basketball players. That seems to describe Wendell Moore to a T. He's also played twice as many minutes in big uniform as anybody else on your roster. Is he your Swiss Army knife? How do you see using him this year?
Well, yeah, there aren't that many guys on our roster that have been, yeah, we have a turnover in roster like a lot of people, but you know, I think he has become that older leader that we've had over the years. In other words, by going through the things you go through as a freshman and sophomore, and learning how to be a player, learning how to be a Duke student, learning how to be a leader, he's benefited from not just the successes he's had, but the times he's been knocked on his butt, the times that people have criticized him, and he's not the only one. I mean, people, you're not that good, or all those things that are said to somebody, and all of a sudden, the guy's good. I said, well, I'm surprised. Well, you're surprised because you don't know it's a process. I mean, this doesn't, you don't get an app to be good. You have to earn being good. And he spent the spring changing his body and how he runs. He's taller now. He's a much better athlete. I was getting some stuff done in the training room. He came in this morning, and I said, that dunk has gone viral. Now you're going to have to do that all the time. And he started laughing, and I said, and I'm not going to be able to put the bucket at 9 feet anymore, just so you look good. And he said, really, coach? I said, yeah. So I love my relationship with him. Like, he's our leader, and he's vocal. He's good. He's in a great place. I love where he's at. And I'm really anxious to see how it'll turn out for him this year. He's one of the keys for our team, because he's going to be that leader. And they're a real close group. We have a real close group. They've been fun to coach, and they have fun. They work hard. They work really hard.
Go to Luke next.
Hey, Mike. Your plan with John on recruiting is sort of we've seen that in practice plan. What about in games? Will his role stay the same on the bench? Is that something you guys have talked about now? Is it something that could evolve? How do you see that?
No, it's a good question, and it'll be pretty much the same. What we have talked about, Luke, and we talk about every year, depending on who's on our staff and their level of experience, are scouts. Like, who does the scouts? And then how will we talk before a game, the day before, when we give it, the 40 minutes before a game. So we're discussing that right now. One thing we made a decision on is, like, Chris Carroll and Nolan will split the scouts. John will watch over all of them, well, like how I would do it, and but how we sit and everything. I just want him on top of every team, not just on top of, like the next, the alternate opponent. And then, but I let my guys talk a lot, so I benefited from them talking, and they're really good with our guys. Where we sit in the game, I'm anxious because we'll actually be able to sit together, I think. That was bad. It's just kind of like when you make it to the Final Four and you have to sit on a stool. I talk to my guys all the time during the game, and so I'm anxious to have them close again.
Would you consider, and maybe you've already, letting him sort of give him some options or decisions to make early in the year?
No, but he does.
Yeah.
He does already, and has. He has. Just like in practice today, this is what we're doing. What do you guys think? And we'll change. That's why we talk during the course of action of the game. And let's try this. Like, we're actually going to do something a little bit different with our guys today. That we talked about. So no, his suggestions have been there for a while, and but the other two guys are good too. Nolan and Chris are really. I've got an outstanding staff, not a good one.
Go here to Tom and then to JB.
Hey, Coach, over here. I got some Army questions for you. Talk about having them on your last schedule. And then I was wondering what memories you have going to the Army Navy football game as a cadet, and is returning on your bucket list in retirement?
I didn't get all
Talk about having Army basketball on your schedule.
Army, yeah.
And your memories of an Army-Navy football game as a cadet, and is it on your bucket list as retirement?
No, my bucket list, a different bucket list. Nothing against that bucket list, but I've been there, you know, so I love them. You know, I talked to the Soup last week. He was supposed to be at a dinner that we were at, but he had to cancel out. And it's going to be an honor to have Army here, especially, you know, it's Veterans Weekend, Veterans Day weekend. And then even as a cadet, I didn't go to every Army-Navy game. Coach Knight we would go and scrimmage down in Philadelphia and Penn, and would scrimmage in the morning, in the afternoon, and at night. And we would not, yeah. I mean, I'll follow like crazy, but no, I'm good. I'm good with it.
JB, back in room.
Thank you, Coach. See you again as usual. Got a two-part question for you. The fans, Cameron and Craig, fans have played a decent part, you know, of your career and your time here in Durham. Is there anything specific that you're looking forward to the most when it comes to the experience, you know, with those fans being involved?
No, just having them all back. I know they'll come out with the requirements of being vaccinated or masked, or I'll wait until all the official word comes down. At that time, you know, we have Countdown to Craziness in a few weeks, so that'll be the first time. But you know, we're even having an event here October 9th. It's not open to you all for a hospital. We do something with the Children's Hospital where they're able to sell like some tickets for $100 a piece and bring some of the patients, and so we'll get a little bit of a run through that one. But no, I'm anxious just to get back to Cameron. You know, there's no place like it, and that game day experience is it's one of a kind. You know, and for 41 of the 42 years I will have had the opportunity of doing that. Last year was bad in that regard, because we didn't even have parents or anybody here. So a lot of times, I mean, it wasn't Cameron. It was, and so we need to find Cameron again.
And the second part of my question, you know, I know I'm looking far ahead here, but has it crossed your mind that final game actually?
No. I told you, I'm going to live in the moment. If I started thinking of that, I'd forget your question, because I'd be thinking of, I'm sorry, thinking of the last game. You know, no. Just, that wouldn't be, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to, look, I'm 74, I'm going to live every moment I have. You know, I don't have a bad wish for myself or anything, but, you know, I mean, that's how we've been successful in doing it that way. And I do think that'll be a tough ticket. You know, we actually, I host with my family the Jimmy V wine celebration in Napa. We've done it for 14 years. And we had it this year again, and we raised $12 to $13 million. I mean, everyone, not me. But the first auction item was 4 tickets to, you know, that last game, the Carolina game. And it went for $1 million. And part of it is the people who did it, just to say thank you for us that was a nice, that was even better than a really good thank you note. You know, it was pretty good thing.
So Max?
Hey Coach, you talked a little bit earlier about Joey Baker, and with him obviously being the last player from his recruiting class to come in. Can you talk a little bit about his growth as both a player and as a leader and a person over these last couple of years?
Yeah, I'm quite, yeah, I don't know, it's tough to keep track of recruiting classes. Who's first, last, in the middle, and whatever. But in this day and age, now it's tough for everybody to do that. No, Joey's been terrific. I think at times he's had injuries like that have obviously hurt him, but hurt him in developing a substantive role on the team. And that's what I'm hoping he can get over this thing quick, because he's had a really good summer. And he's really shooting the ball well. And all of our guys are more athletic. You know, Joey's more athletic than he has been. And so hopefully he'll have a good one and stay healthy.
Isaac?
Hey, Coach. I'm curious about the Supreme Court ruling on name, image, and likeness. What would be the advice that you would give to your players on how to handle this new opportunity that's been opened up?
Yeah, the name, image, and likeness thing, I think our athletic department's handled it great. Nina has done a terrific job with that for all sports, and along with Todd, our new chief of staff. They're right on top of it. They brought people in to educate the coaches and the players about it, and ours is going great. You know, the thing about ours is we respect the privacy of each player. So we're not, to me, when you hear people promoting what's happened, that's not in the best interest of the kid. It's in the best interest of your program, or at least you think it is. You know, these kids deserve privacy in whatever they do, and it all has to then be channeled through our athletic department, so they get guidance along the way. And you know, again, I'm very, very impressed with what our leadership and athletic department's done with the NIL. I'm a big fan about it. Although I think back almost 30 years ago, when Thomas Hill, Brian Davis, and those guys were here, Tony Lang, they used to be, along with the Carolina kids, they were able to work camps, speak at camps. You'd make $250, $300, $500, you know, whatever. And guys would make a good amount of money, and then they would learn how to speak. They would be missionaries for college basketball. And I think the Fab Five did it too, and I think they did an autograph session one time, and people then said, well, that's not right for those kids to do all that. And they outlawed it. Not only that was a time where they started limiting the number of hours we could work with. It was almost like we were being punished. Imagine where we would be right now if that was the start of NIL. Because basically it was, right? And in other words, instead of going, if this is a graph from here to here, you would have this. Those are the things that I savor. I savor like missed opportunities, and it makes me shake my head. But I've been a big proponent of it my whole career. Whatever you can do to help the kid is important.
We have time for a couple more. We'll go to Royal, and then Aaron, and then Alex.
Hello, Coach. Recently, your all-time leading scorer, J.J. Redick, announced his retirement from the NBA. He had a bunch of fond members here at Henry Indoor Stadium. He had opposing coaches also say that he was one of the hardest coaches, hardest players to coach against, games team against. Do you have any fond memories, your best memory of J.J. Redick?
No, but I got hundreds of memories of JJ. And JJ and I spoke, we speak frequently, but he called me a couple days before he announced, just to let me know and we reminisced. Really, for our program, for the 4 decades that I've been honored to be the coach, for the ACC tournament, I'm not sure there's anybody in the history of any of the conference that has had more of an impact on the 4 ACC tournaments that he was in. He literally won 3 of them for us. You know, against NC State, we were down by a lot, and he went nuts. Boston College was one of the most physical games ever played in the ACC championship, and he had shots that were crazy. And then the first time up in Maryland, were playing Georgia Tech, and all my guards fell out. Sheldon and Chad were bringing the ball up. We didn't know if we could score, and all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. And actually had, I think, about a 5-point lead with under a minute to go. And he's right in front of our bench. There's still about 25 seconds on the clock. We should hold the ball. And he fired it up, and he goes, I said, "It's all right. It's all right. Just get the ball back in your hands." You know, real quick. Now, he loved every second of it. You know, he made us look really good.
Last two, Aaron, and then Alex.
I wanted to ask about AJ Griffin, the guy who was recovering from an injury, long layoff. How do you kind of handle him with the ankle, and then also the time away from the sport?
Good question about with AJ. Really, the injury, he's been really good. He's been with us now. He hasn't missed anything. Initially, he missed a little bit in July, but then he's been terrific. And the main thing he has to overcome is not playing for a year and a half, 2 years. And he's had 2 outstanding weeks these last 2 weeks, where he's just getting it at a really good level. So I'm very excited about where he might be a month from now. You know, where he is today is not where he's going to be a month from now.
Alex.
You mentioned Paul's versatility earlier. I'm curious what your thoughts are specifically on his passing and playmaking.
I can't hear what you said.
Paulo's versatility and playmaking.
He's got great potential in there, and he's learning how to effectively use the dribble instead of dribbling. You know, and because when you're dribbling, you can't pass, and the defense moves a lot better. It's a lot easier to defend a dribbling team than a great passing team, because you can move with the ball on a dribble. It's tough to move as fast as a pass. But he's got great potential there, and he's another kid who is working like crazy. He wants to be really good.
And you're watching Absolute Basketball.